When I first encountered Franz Kafka's The Trial, I expected a classic courtroom drama. What I got was something far more disorienting and profound. A story that left me unsettled, questioning not only the nature of justice, but the very fabric of reality. Kafka's world is both alien and familiar. It's a place where anxiety is the air you breathe and the logic is a shifting mirage. Let me take you on my journey through the trial, not just as a reader, but as someone who found their fears and doubts mirror in Josef K's desperate quest for meaning. The story opens with a jolt. Joseph K, a respectable bank officer, is arrested in his boarding house on his 30th birthday. There's no explanation, no charge, just two men in ill fitting uniforms and a sense of suffocating inevitability. I remember feeling a chill as I read those first pages. What if this happened to me? What if one morning my life was upended by an accusation I couldn't even name? Kafka's genius is in making the ordinary terrifying. The boarding house, the breakfast, the polite conversation, all of it is tinged with menace. I found myself questioning every interaction, every word. The world of the trial is one where nothing is as it seems, and trust is a luxury you can't afford. As Kay tries to navigate his mysterious trial, he's drawn deeper into a maze of bureaucracy that feels both absurd and all too real. The court is built in the attics of tenement buildings. The officials are bored and indifferent, and the rules are never explained. Reading these scenes, I was reminded of every time I've been lost in government office, every time I've waited on hold for hours, every time I've filled out forms that seemed designed to confuse rather than clarify. One scene that stayed with me is Kay's first visit to the court. He climbs endless stairs, pushes through the crowds, and finally finds himself in a stifling, chaotic room where his case is being discussed as if he isn't even there. The judge is uninterested, the audience is hostile, and Kay's attempt to defend himself only makes things worse. I felt his frustration in my bones, the sense that the more you struggle, the tighter the net becomes. Throughout his ordeal, Kay meets a cast of characters who offer help, advice, or distraction, but never real answers. There's Frolian Bustner, his neighbor, whose sympathy is fleeting, the lawyer whose illness and self importance render him useless, Lenny, the seductive nurse whose affection is as bewildering as it is comforting, and tutorially, the painter whose knowledge of code is both encyclopedic and utterly unhelpful. I found myself wondering as these people allies or just more obstacles? Is their advice meant to help K or keep him trapped in the system? Kafka blurs the line between friend and foe, leaving both K and the reader unsure who to trust. Midway through the novel, K hears the famous parable before the law. In it, a man seeks entry to the law, but is kept waiting by a doorkeeper. He waits his entire life, never gaining an entry, only to learn at the end that the door was meant solely for him. The story hit me hard. How many times have I waited for permission, for validation, for some external authority to grant me access to meaning or justice? The parable is a cruel joke, a reminder that answer we seek may be forever out of our reach, not because they don't exist, but because the system is designed to keep us waiting. At first, K is defiant. He believes in his innocence, in possibility of reason, but as the trial drags on, his confidence erodes. He becomes paranoid, isolated, obsessed. He neglects his work, alienates his friends, and loses himself in the endless rituals of the court. By the end, he is a shadow of his former self, resigned to his fate. I found this transformation deeply unsettling. It's not just about the law or the state, it's about the ways in which systems, expectations, and fears can hollow us from the inside. K's struggle is universal, the fight against forces that are vast, impersonal, and indifferent to our suffering. The novel ends as it begins, with violence, confusion, and ambiguity. Two men arrive to take Kay away. He is led through the city, past silent witnesses, to a quarry outside the town. There, without ceremony or explanation, he is executed like a dog. The final words are chilling in their simplicity and finality. As I close the book, I felt a mix of anger, sadness, and a strange sense of recognition. Kafka doesn't offer closure or catharsis. He leaves us with questions about guilt, innocence, authority, and the meaning of life itself. For me, the trial is more than a novel, it's an experience, a mirror, a warning. It speaks to the anxieties of modern life, the fear of being judged, the frustration of dealing with faceless institutions, the sense that we are all, in some way, on trial for a crimes we can't name. Kafka's world is absurd, but it's also our world, the bureaucracy, the confusion, the longing for justice. They're all too real. And yet, there's a dark humor, a resilience in K's struggle. Even as he is crushed by the system, he never stops searching for the answers. He never stops questioning. Reading the trial made me more aware of the systems that shape my life, more skeptical of easy answers, and more compassionate toward those who are lost in this maze.